It was a crazy moment last time out in Matchday 8 when we saw Man City go a goal behind against Club Brugge and had to survive and fight back to get a win against that same team, Club Brugge, as I mentioned, a 3-1 win against them to proceed from leave the elevation zones and move to the potential round of 16, the playoffs, and now the first ever league phase is done and dusted. We have our first 8 teams settled, and we have our extra 16 teams trying to make up that final 8 teams with 2 games to go. Trying to push up their claim. Then Man City gets the champions of last season, the 15-time champions Real Madrid, and we have a team that will definitely bow out among these teams, and so many other teams that are coming, so many features to come. Juventus, PSG, PSV. We have Brestius versus PSG. We have Celtic versus Bayern, and so many games to come. So the question now is, what do we do about our fantasy teams? We have never had the playoffs before. What do you do about the January signings? Have they been added to the game? As many of you have been asking, who are the best January signings to bring into our teams, for this window? We'll try and emphasize and discuss on that quickly. In case you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the FPL Manor podcast show. I'm your host, the FPL Manor. My name is Adiwale Adeshino, and basically I gather here every time to talk about Champions League fantasy ahead of the following week that is available. And now we are just a few hours away for match day. What do we call this match day? It doesn't have a name, so we'll just call it the playoffs first leg. The playoff first leg is about to start. Match day 10 will be available. Match day 9 and 10 will be available when the round of 16 starts. So the playoffs first leg. Let's just get into it. Let's just move on. I don't have a lot of time. I've been very busy writing, gathering price tags of players that are available. So let's just get into it. So my system just came on. So let me just try and at least check into my accounts and see what my team did last week. So let's try and see how my team performed last time out. So in case you didn't know, for those that know that were here, I played my limitless chip last time out, and I think I got a very good score. I was expecting over 100 points, but I got 98 points, and that was enough to move me from 31k ranking to about 12k rank. So now we are having a very good standing here in the towards the end of the league phase, and it's a very good thing for me, so far, because we had a very mixed start, 87, 73, 90 points. This week I had a lot of friends that were getting over 100 points. I was yet to get 100 points to game week 5 ish. So this was what the team looked like, and many of these players are no more available for the playoffs, so we need to make a few changes to getting a better team for the round of 16. However, before we get started, I would love to highlight our section today. The first thing we'll be treating here will be who are the best January signings. I got a question from Zakaria01 on Twitter. Who are the best January signings in this window? And I also got a question from a few players, going up and down. So first of all, let's look at the signings, because let's look at the January signings that has been added to the game, at least players that moved during this window, either on loan and during transfers. So this is the first set of players. So we had a few additions that was done like about 6 hours ago, and I was able to gather about, I don't know, most of them I could see and post about it. So these are the general additions we have here. So we have PSG, Colomwani moving from PSG to Juventus, 7.1. Malin moving to Aston Villa, 7M. Asensio, 6.7. Santiago Jimenez, 6.5. Mika Briret, 5.6. Emiliano Bundier, 5.6. Posh, 5.5. Kai Walker, 5.2. We also have some other signings, that I wrote separately that have also been included, and this is the list below. I can't relay all of them. However, looking at the price tags here, if I was to give my first time reaction here, I would say the player I was looking forward to the most was Mamouche. and Varaskelia. Now Varaskelia was signed for 70 million from Napoli to PSG, and is coming at 7.5 million. It's similar to his rank to his price tag when he came when after the first season when Napoli won the Scudetto and they have a very good Champions League season. He started from 5.5. I think that 1920 or 2021 season. Then the following season was like 7-ish million. So this is a very good price tag for the money that was spent on him. It's a very good price tag. Mamouche, however, I'm not sure if it's Man City's bias that made him it or because of his 20 goals scored at least for Frankfurt before moving to Man City, that could play a factor into him making that it region. However, I felt like it should have been less than that, but it is what it is. It has been done. Out of these players now, the question now I will ask myself is, who is the best player to target from the January transfers? And that was a question gotten from my friend here. My friend on Twitter, he asked the question, yes, which January signings do you think is worth having? Good question. So let's dive into it. January transfers. This is where I'm supposed to do like a visual card to show you January transfers. So January transfer, based on January transfers, we have Kolomwani, top of my list there, who just signed for for Juventus from PSG, and has scored 5 goals in 3 matches started. 5 goals, 2 back-to-back braces, and a goal in his first match against Napoli. So there seems to be a little bit of confidence in starting Kolomwani ahead of Vlahovic, who has not been starting regularly even from the Christmas period, and managers seem to have lost faith in him. However, there is a rumor that he might find a way to mix them in to start them together. However, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. So based on paper, based on form, based on players that have had instant impact for their individual clubs, Kolomwani stands on top of that list. I think Mamouche would have been a better option in our teams if he was not priced at 8 million and was not facing a Real Madrid team. I would have preferred to maybe have Mamouche, but now that will be out of the option because one, he's also a forward. He's not even priced as a midfielder in the game, so that completely rules him out because he's in the same category with the Alvarez's, the Kurasi, and definitely overpriced at this point because he's the forward. So there's no really benefit to having Mamouche right now in the team. So in terms of January transfer, I would have probably suggested Mamouche, but because of his price tag and the position he has been placed in the Champions League, no, I will not suggest him for now. Let's see how he adapts to Man City and probably get in that kind of result that Pep is looking forward to having from his new signings. But Man City is one team that also made some signings. Nico Gonzalez joining the ranks there. The midfielder they've been looking forward to having. Nico Gonzalez coming at 6 million here in our game here. There's Kusanov coming in at 4 million. Definitely, this is not going to be a regular starter, but I've considered the fact that he could probably break. You can consider the fact that he could break into the first team. Some other signings that I'm happy about here that I'm probably looking forward to seeing later on in the knockout round is Marcus Rashford. He made his debut in the FA Cup game where he came from the bench and kind of wanted to have an instant impact, but he's still yet to find that rhythm. So I would like to see how he improves over the coming weeks to see how he breaks into the first team, because from the month of March we will start having our March or ending February, I think it's March, we'll start having our round of 16 matches. So we'd like to see how Rashford picks up to speed and breaks into the first team. But based on instant impact, best January signing so far is Kolomwani. I think if I was going to call any other player, it would be Kvaratskhelia. I butchered his name here. Vicha Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia. Yes. I butchered his name. Here. There's no E here. The K spelled wrongly. So 1 goal and 1 assist in 3 matches. He has been trying to be consistent. However, he's one person I'm looking forward to having. But I think Bakola is a better option for PSG. So that sidetracks me to the next question that I will probably ask myself. Now, this is the time where we have a free wildcard going to the round of 16, or rather into the playoffs, and everyone has a free wildcard, so you can have any team you want In addition to what I forgot to mention, you have an extra 5 million budget added to your team. So whatever value you had in your team before prior to the end of the league phase, you have an extra 5 million to add on that. So you will not really have budget constraints per se. So limitless is more likely not needed at all. You don't need to play. In fact, you can't play limitless because everyone has a free or limited transfer. So we have extra 5 million, and the question now is, we also have an extra spot for a team. So instead of you picking only three Man City players, you can pick four Man City players. Instead of you picking only three, selecting only three Bayern players, you can pick four Bayern players. So the question now is, which team do we target ahead of the playoffs? Now, I've not done a little bit of writing. I've not done much research as of now. I've not really had time to do that. I'll still do that and probably find time to post it on Twitter or tag it later in this video. However, based on the fixtures, let's look at who has the best games to target. Which team are the best teams to target? Now, based on the fixtures I've seen so far, Man City did not escape from facing Real Madrid. However, Bayern had a better escape getting Celtic. Now, Celtic have improved compared to their first two games in the Champions League, where the first one was decent. Then they had like a 5-2 loss against Dortmund or so. I think it's 7-2 loss, if I'm not mistaken, against Borussia Dortmund. So they have very much improved. However, now they are hosting another German side, which Bayern, and Bayern about 8 points clear thereabout in the Bundesliga in the table. So if I was looking for a team to target, it would be Bayern Munich players. I'll try and get at least three because they are likely to. I'm looking for teams that are likely to go through to the next round, because if you didn't know, after now you would have only three more transfers to do the following week. So it's always nice to have players you know that will probably be available for Matchday, the first leg and second leg, and also deliver points. So I'll look at targeting a little bit of Bayern, maybe two or three Bayern players, most likely minimum of two. So a Musalia here or Harry Kane will most likely fit in the particular structure here. There's a differential I'm looking forward to here, and that's Pavlidis, who had a hat-trick against Barcelona and currently has 4 goals in the last 2 games for Benfica in the Champions League. So it's one option I'm looking forward to having. Kolomwani would be definitely a bigger differential option because of his form. I'm not sure what his ownership is right now, but it will definitely skyrocket before the deadline. So it's priced at 7.1 million and he has 1% ownership. So definitely a differential without a doubt. Ousmane Dembele, definitely somebody that I want to consider against Brestius, who scored a hat-trick against them just about 2 Saturdays ago. And he's on form. He's doing wonders for Paris. He's got a hat-trick in Matchday 8. And, still has about roughly 10% ownership. 10% ownership or less. I think last time I saw it, I saw 4. I'm not sure what it is now. It should still be less than 4. Okay, less than 10%. So it has doubled since the last time I saw it. So these are differential options. I mean, maybe I'll fit in a Real Madrid player, Vinicius Junior, based on that clutch moment he can deliver against Man City. Man City don't really have the best defense. I also like to have Guirassy, who is yet to blank in the first 8 games in the Champions League. So there are lots of options to have going forward. So if I was to just look at it from a balanced point of view, I would say 2 PSG, maybe Bakola and Dembele. I would say 2 Bayern Munich because of the ability of them to go through to the next round and facing Celtic in their home game next week. Maybe 1 Juventus or Man City. Maybe one Juventus or Real Madrid or Man City, probably a Foden, Vinicius Junior, for example, Kolomwani, as I mentioned, who most likely have the most instant impact, and Pavlidis from Benfica, and the list goes on. Let's not forget De Ketelaere, who also had a very good ending towards a good run towards the ending of the league phase. So a lot of options to target here. So I think the question now that follows after this is, what is the best wildcard team to have? Now, I've not had a lot of time to design a wildcard team. I really haven't. This is still my team. I haven't touched anybody. I still have 5 million in the bank. However, I have a minor draft that I designed just roughly 10 days thereabout ago. So let me quickly open it and show you guys what my potential wildcard team looks like. So at least off the top of my head, when I was playing around, when the changes were made, most of the January transfers are not here, but this is what my wildcard team looked like the first time I designed it. So I tried going double Juventus defense with Gatti and Di Gregorino also, and try and fit in a little bit of feeder options that will carry me at least both Tuesday and Wednesday features. So this is what my team looked like, and I tried to triple up on PSG having Bakola, Dembele, and Hakimi. Little bit of Zapata is here, little bit of Besbiani is here, but he's currently injured, as you can see from recent stats. I've not had time to do injury updates, so you guys will forgive me for that. So I don't know. There's no injury updates coming this week. Most like, let's see. Fingers crossed next week. Personally, I'm leaving it to March because I have a little bit of engagements going on this month. So this is what my team looks like, at least from my first thoughts so far. A lot of things will change. Definitely, Olise might be dropped for another player. Best Behind is definitely going to be changed. My jet ski also in goal would be changed. So I've not had time to like deliver a brand new draft team. But you know what? Give me a few minutes, right? I'll go back to my to the table and find in better options to probably tweet about very soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I plan to make this very short. So I don't know how long I've been talking. So I'll be getting towards the end of this. So that's my potential drafting. Currently still ranked 12.4k in the world, and that will be all for this episode. It should not be more than 10-15 minutes so that we can move about a day, and also I can also get into other things I plan to do. So if you like this episode, if it made sense to you, something I said was very intriguing, you want to follow me for more, check me out on X at the FPM Manor, Instagram, all social media platforms that I'm active on. And reach out to me if you have a question concerning your team, or you're looking for a particular injury news. Since I'm not really available to write it, I may or may not have time, but I will find time to answer your messages. And that will be all for now. Thanks for tuning in. Have a beautiful match. The playoff first leg are ahead, and ciao. We'll see you later. Bye for now.